As not these action figures. I got this at the New York Japanese Festival, which
Whoa,
is
so
pretty
you're a
cool this summer.
fan.
Oh, he's a fan. He a fan. He a fan.
Wow. I
Yeah.
had
So
no
this
idea.
is Itachi. This is his brother Sasuke as a kid. This was actually in the midst of their battle before he actually, spoiler alert, died. Um,
Okay.
this is the fourth Hokage Minato, Uzumaki, who is the father of the main protagonist of the series,
I love
Naruto.
it.
And this is a fan favorite character by the name of Ichigo Kurosaki from the famous series Bleach.
Well, there we go.
I had to give you a lesson there.
You just broke it
So,
down. Jada, did you know any of this?
No.
I love it. I love it. So this goes to show you all that balance is a core value here at Student Dream. And this is a prime example of the fact that we define wealth as not just making a lot of money, right? We define wealth as earning and saving more than you spend with joy, integrity, and generosity. And so clearly this brings you joy, Martin, Coach Martin. So tell us about why anime brings you joy. Tell me a little bit more about that. You're muted.
that's a good point. I believe anime for me has always been an outlet. It's been a break from reality, just like most shows are, reality shows,
Yeah.
movies, etc. For me, I kind of grew up with anime as a fan of anime. I don't know if you ever watched Pokemon and Dragon Ball
Oh yeah,
Z.
gotta catch them all.
Yeah,
Gotta catch them all. Kame Kame Ha.
yeah. So I
Yes.
really
I got
started
three
catching
older
on when I was
brothers, so
yo, there we go. So I really started catching on, to mainstream anime when I was preteen, and then from there, when I got to college, is when I realized how big the anime community actually was. Um,
Yo,
and
Symphony, you got to join on camera because this is your spot. That's one of our students too. Go
yeah, yeah,
ahead.
no. So in college, I realized and I learned that the anime community was huge, and I was no longer the black sheep of the family. So
Literally
it's
and figuratively, you weren't.
Yeah. So not only was an outlet, just playing on just this is my source of entertainment. Like I'm a big fan of Crunchyroll, which is like the Netflix or anime.
Ah,
But it's also a big friendly community as well. But because I can afford to buy action figures like this, right?
come
I mean,
on. And how can you
yeah,
afford to buy it? Let the students know. How are you able to
yeah.
afford to buy it?
Yeah, because over time I was able to save up money and one day I'm going on a stroll at a food festival and some I saw some merchandise being sold and I was like, hey, this is within my budget, well within my budget. I can buy a couple of these. And I was able to
Come
spend
on.
$100 on four action figures. Not to say that that's what you want to do. That's where I'm sure your $100 can go in
Joy.
much, much, much other, fruitful places. But in this case, there was some residual savings left over to purchase these action figures. So that's what I did.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
you bring up a really good point, Coach Martin. And the reason why I think it's so important, especially in the Black community, it's so important to know that even while you're working to get financially healthy, to to earn, to save, to invest, to give, to pay off your debt, you do have to spend money. It's okay to spend money, right? Like I remember a few years ago, I was just like, you all know I'm a Christian, and I just felt like in my spirit, God was saying, like, Nana, it's okay to spend money. Like you have to spend money, and spending money is good, right? These small businesses need the money. You need the product and the service. I think a lot of times, especially if we come from backgrounds where money was tight, it's you there can be a sense of guilt and a feeling of guilt with actually spending money on things that are just what you want, are things they're not things you need, but they're things that bring you joy. But the good thing is that we were meant to have joy in our lives. It's not
No,
just about, yo, let me pay the gas, let me make sure I'm paying rent, let me make sure I have one pair of shoes. Yo, if it brings you joy to get not just a black pair or a white pair of shoes, but a green pair of shoes, get those green. And if you can afford it, right? hence why we're having this whole session about budgeting like a billionaire. Go and buy those green Jordans. But the
Yeah,
issue that we often see in our community is that we are not, that is, we're
yeah,
living above our means and not below our means. And so that's a
yeah,
big difference that we're gonna determine. But nah, man, you are in finance. You are in finance, Coach Martin. You worked in many of the lucrative positions in finance. You're an investor, so you definitely actually earned it. So buy
yeah.
your anime.
Yeah, to your point, and not to hash on it too much, but you're
Yeah.
right. Like I personally know exactly what that's like. My mom and sister actually visit me here in New York today. They're sitting on my terrace. But my mom worked really hard as a single parent.
Mm,
Never made more than like $30,000 a year, raising
wow.
two kids on the west side of Chicago, right? And if anybody knows anything about Chicago, that's a rough area. So my reasoning for getting into the industry that I'm in today was primarily because I wanted to get as far away from where I grew up as possible.
Wow.
But as you become more educated and gain more exposure, particularly from those that have knowledge and those that that maybe come from wealth or the also building wealth, you learn that okay, money is a tool. It's designed to
Talk about
work for
it.
you while you're asleep. Hence why I
Talk
decided to
about it.
invest in real estate. Hence why I'm looking up a list of dividend stocks, to add to my portfolio, for example, right? But my whole point is that, you know, you, once you put money into certain buckets, that's when the anxiety goes away.
Mm,
That's how you learn, to let go of this. Oh, am I saving? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? It's really about the buckets that you put your money in, and once you put those put that money in those buckets because you're planning, right? Because once you have a plan, meaning you put your money in buckets, that's when the anxiety goes away because you
so
have
much.
assurance that okay, I already put this percent of my earned income in this bucket, this percent of my income in this bucket that have designated plans, whether that
Right.
be a life insurance, whether that be a stock, whether that be real estate, whether that be a rainy day fund or emergency fund. Once those things are in that bucket, that's when you can then feel a little relief, and
So
then of
much relief.
course splurge a little bit, right? And you're not
Yeah.
really, yeah,
Or a
yeah.
lot
So
of
anyway,
bit, or a lot of bit.
yeah.
Like I'm full disclosure, take bougie trips. Full disclosure, I'm going to Paris tomorrow for the Olympics. And I'm
That's
proud of
amazing.
it. I ain't got no guilty feelings about it because I got the money and I'm paid cash for
Bonjour.
my bonjour. I need to learn a little French. That is one thing I need to we need to get a sponsor that's like a Duolingo sponsor or something. This
Yeah.
episode is sponsored by but I ain't if y'all
Bonjour
we all good.
television.
Right, bonjour television. Um but yeah, but full disclosure, I'm going to Paris tomorrow, paid for that cash. Granted, I did use credit card points, but I have the cash, right? I want to get more points. But I used and then in a few weeks I'm going on vacation to Florence, Italy. That trip was fully paid for by my credit card points. And so we'll talk about that another time, but I was able to I've gotten really into fashion lately, so I have been like going out and just buying pieces that really complement my skin tone, my proportions, all of that. It's really fun. It's like a game. And so that costs money. But again, it's because I have the money. I have a job, I have my own business, I have great teammates like Martin to help levy the work and help us generate more contracts with schools and clients. Yeah, we work hard. And so it's a joy to be able to be a patron of some of these great businesses for to pay for these services and products that are going to help me become the best person I'm supposed to be and vice versa. So definitely y'all, we have to and then honestly there's oftentimes a lot of emotional issues that we need to deal with in order to really do the things that we need to do. That's something that I'm learning recently as I've gone through therapy. If we are not fully processing all of what we're feeling, both the comfortable feelings and the discomforting feelings, then we will not be able to take any action. So a big part of what we do in this community is not just focus on, oh, do this, do that, just DIY, pull you guys should know what you should be doing. that just removes the human element of life, right? Because one of the things that I always like to say about personal finance is that personal finance is personal, right? Personal finance is personal. Personal finance is emotional. There was a great behavioral economist, I think it was Daniel Kahneman. He was talking about, did this whole big study looking at, why people make certain financial decisions. And it was revealed that, even though people can know, hey, I should save 10% or invest this much, they didn't actually do it because making decisions, it's not just you knowing the right things, but it's also about you being in the right emotional state to know what's going on so you can make the right decision. You feel me? And so a lot of what we do in this community is not just equipping you with the inspiration and not just making sure that you know the right money decisions to make, not just making sure you know about budgeting and saving and investing and 401ks and credit card points and high yield savings accounts and product market fit and all these stuff that we geek out about, but it's emotion, making sure that y'all are fully feeling what you need to feel so that you can actually not always be in a fight or flight mode or freeze mode, but actually can have a calm nervous system that's able to make healthy financial decisions. All right. But it's great to see everyone here. So everybody who's present, shout out to you, Daryl. Shout out to you, Jada. Shout out to you, Symphony. Shout out to you,
Hello
Coach
to you
Martin.
all. Yeah.
Yes.
Shout
So
out to
we're,
you, Nana.
thank you,
Coach
thank you,
Nana.
thank you, thank you. So we are going to get started. We are here with Budgeting Like a Billionaire Part 2, one of my favorite sessions, Budgeting Like a Billionaire Part 2. And so quick recap, all the number one thing that I want y'all to take away from our session today is how do you budget like a billionaire? So I've had the fortunate opportunity to actually work for a billionaire in my life. So I worked, shout out to Edgar Brofman Jr. And the Brofman Family Office. Does anybody know what a family office is? All right, so type it in the chat for me. Family office, family office, family office. I want to see Dalen write that down. I want to see Daryl write that down. Symphony, Jada, family office. This is our word of the week. So, and then I want y'all to actually write this. I want you to write, one day I'm going to have a family office. Type that in the chat. We got to declare that over our lives. One day I'm going to have a family office. I want to see that from everybody. Let me see it. I don't see it yet. One day I'm going to have a family office. Yes. All right. So here's what a family office is, guys. So when a family has made a lot of money, so in particular, the Brofman family, the father, the grandfather, he owned Warner Music Group and they owned DuPont Chemical Company. So as business owners, those businesses can make a lot of money. Hence why and how they actually started the Seagram's franchise. So Seagram's Distillery, Seagram's Alcohol, Soda, they started that. And then because of the money they made off of that business, they were able to then purchase Warner Music Group, then purchase DuPont and make a lot of money. And so when you have a lot of money, what's one of the things that you see people with a lot of money doing with that money? I want to hear from one of the students.
They're investing.
Yes, Symphony. Yes, they invest it.
That's right.
And so when you have a family, normally you'll see companies, right, investing money or governments investing money. But when a family invests money, they open up what's called a family office. And so basically it's the family pooling their money together to invest those funds. And they can invest those funds in private equity. They can, which we'll talk about at another time, they can invest it in venture capital, real estate. And so for the most part, I was working on the venture capital side of the family office, helping them to find what are called TMT opportunities in the domestic US and sub-Saharan Africa. So TMT is a sector of finance that stands for technology, media, and telecommunications. So we were looking for businesses, startup businesses that they could invest in those sectors. Really fun. But long story short, the family were billionaires. And so since I worked for a billionaire family, I got to get a bit of a sense of how billionaires budget their money. And so I want to take that, right? So I was able to take that learning experience and form my own budget, right? And I want you to be able to take that experience to form your own budget so that you can not just have your own family office one day, not even be a billionaire, but just so you can be financially healthy, right? Because clearly billionaires know how to manage their money. They have a lot of it and they know how to manage it. And so my goal by the end of this session is for you to have at least the framework of a clear vision, a clear goal, a clear financial vision, a clear financial goal, a clear financial plan, and a clear financial system, right? So by the end of this, I want you to have an idea of just a beginning idea of your financial vision, your financial goal, your financial plan, and your financial system. Because without those 4 things, you will not hit your money goals. But with those 4 things, you will certainly hit your money goals. Okay. And so I shared with you this is what myself, Coach Martin, what we want to see you walk away with. But I want to hear from y'all. When you hear budgeting like a billionaire part 2, talk to me when you think about your budgeting. What is one thing that you want to leave here with, right? What is one thing that you want to walk away from this session with? Because again, this is an investment of your time. Student investors, this means you are investing your time and your energy into yourself, into your future. And so I would always suggest don't spend your time and energy anywhere where you're not going to see the return on your investment. But I promise you that you're going to get a return on investment. And I shared with you what that return is going to look like. But I want to hear from you. A lot of times when you are talking to people who manage money for folks, they're talking to their clients and they're asking them, hey, what are your long-term goals, right? What do you want to walk away with? And so I want to give you all about a minute, 2 minutes to just think through that. What do you want to walk away with? Let's actually give you a minute. By 1:15, maybe 1:30 if we have a little more time. What is one thing you want to walk away with from this session on budgeting like a billionaire? All right, so take a minute to think about that, and I'll be right back. 1 minute. I got to move to charge my computer. All right, y'all. We're back. So write it in the chat for me, y'all. What's one thing you want to walk away with by the end of this session? Or you can say it verbally. I'd love for y'all to say it verbally and then write it in the chat. And so I'm going to start with Jada. And when you introduce yourself, I want you to say, what's your name? What city you're representing? And what city, what school, what's your year? and then you can answer the question. So name, where you're from, what school you're at, and your year in school. And talk to me what you want to walk away with by the end of today.
Hi, I'm Jada Leonard. I'm from the Bronx, New York. I attend Bryant University. I play basketball there. I'm 20 years old. And one key takeaway I want to take with me from this course today is, the importance of, living, learning to live below my means. Because I feel like I'm somebody that likes to spend a lot of money on my food, and I like to live above my means and, give to the people that I love and buy a lot of gifts. So yeah, I want to learn some keys to live below my means and take my income more seriously to build my wealth. So,
yes, come on. I love that. I love that.
It's a great goal. I definitely relate to that. and think that's a really, really good important part, which obviously now that you know as well, like living below your means is crucial to being able to save, and obviously, set yourself up. I think that's probably one of the most underrated aspects of wealth building that people don't really talk about enough. But that's a
Yeah,
great point.
that's really good. All right, next up, Daryl.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm a senior. I go to Berkeley College. I finished college like in like 2 weeks. I'm studying
Woo.
criminal justice.
What's the
Um,
graduation day, Daryl? What's the exact day of your graduation?
well, I already graduated in May. Like I had the graduation ceremony. I'm just like finished the classes
Okay.
end of this month.
Yeah.
Um,
Congrats.
one thing I want to take away is to be able to know how to put my money where I have where my vision is. Not just like leave my money in a bank account and just keep spending it on like frivolous things, but like actually keep my money and save it for the vision that I have for the future.
Come on. I love it. I love it. All right. Symphony, my girl. Talk to me.
Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm Symphony, and I am located in Hollywood, Florida now. Finally moved at my grandma's house, and I'm taking a break from school. I've been out of school for like a year or so now. I think I might go back next year. We don't know yet. And my biggest takeaway that I want to have is that I want to stop being fearful of my budget and embrace it so I can manage it better. Because a lot of times I find myself where I know I'm low on funds, but I'm too embarrassed to look at them. So
Mm,
I'd rather just swipe and just, wait till later on and stuff. But it's still not nice to, when you see the email saying, oh, like you have no money. I'm like, oh, okay.
ooh,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I want to do better with that.
That's definitely a
Yeah.
natural, anxiety, if you will, if we can call it that. And I think that's just based off your emotional attachment to money and also kind of how you grew up and just how you've conditioned yourself. But, I think there's actually a simple solution to that. It's basically just called planning and being prepared. I think that preparation helps you, alleviate some of those fears, and obviously knowing where you stand, which we talked about that, I believe it was last week. Knowing where
Yeah.
you stand is absolutely crucial because you want to know what those numbers actually look like. You can't like guess, right? Like, if you think that Amazon or the CEO, the CFO, or controller of Amazon or Apple or Tesla or Microsoft are guessing, what the numbers are, what the budgets are. No, these are all strategic, initiatives to exceed the goals from the previous quarter, previous year,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for
but
that,
thanks.
Martin. And I want to add to that because Symphony, it is so important. And thanks for sharing that. Thanks for being vulnerable and sharing that because, no one wants to admit, man, my bank account is in the negatives or is in the red. I remember I got let go from my first job out of college. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but I had really put a lot of my identity and worth in what I did. And so I was crushed when that happened. Like I remember going to my friend just crying, so sad, so crushed. Um, and for the longest, like a year after that, I remember looking at my bank account and just dealing with the challenge of not having a lot of money in my account. And I remember looking at my account one day and finally laughing and being like, oh, I was like, okay, God, I see what you're trying to teach me. Like my identity's not in this because if it were, that means I'm worth negative nothing, and I'm like, and I know that's not true. I may not have had as much confidence as I do today, but I was like, I know that ain't true. And so I say all that to say, a lot of the times, like it's so important for us to feel. And if you mind, can we work through a quick exercise with you real quick? If you don't
Yeah, I
mind.
don't mind.
Okay. So when you like think to when you are looking at or like are wanting to look at your bank account, right? What are you feeling? Like, and take your time.
I think like I feel more anxiety, but it's more so I guess frustration a lot of the times too, because I'm working technically full time, but now with the whole budget cut, they cut my post, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm not making as much money as I used to, but I still have the same bill. So it's kind of like, okay, but I have no wiggle room now because of that. So I guess it's really like a lot of frustration and worry when I don't want to look in the account. But I know either way, I have to look at it regardless, especially when like, when your rent is due and stuff, and that's in my
Yeah.
portion of it. So
I mean, hey, feelings don't need to make sense, it's how you feel. So we could know we need to do this, but again, thinking and feeling are two different things. And so you said you worried, like, talk to me more about that. What are you worried about?
I guess if I have enough for my share of it, because like my mom and I, we split the rent. So usually, and I guess this is kind of frustrating because I feel kind of bad because I technically make more money than my mom on paper, but I feel like I make less than her because of my bills are higher since I have to pay the rent. I have the rent for my art studio, and then I also pay the light bills. So we're already looking at roughly, I want to say like 1,500, 1,600, ranging on like, the light bill. And then I always forget about, oh, but I have credit card bills. And then I have bills when I took, when you do the Affirm Pay and all those things,
Yeah,
you just forget about them and they catch up on you later.
yeah, yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of a stress, a lot of burden, so I can see why you wouldn't want to feel right more stress and burden, who wants to do that? And so it's important to what will help you like to face that. It's not just because you know what you need to do, but it's really an emotional thing. It's okay. We all can know what we need to do, but if we haven't processed our emotions about doing that thing, we're just going to shut down and we're going to avoid
Yeah.
it. Right. And so it's important to start like just being comfortable with feeling the emotion. So now like, hey, me looking at this bank account, I know that I'm going to feel some anxiety. I know I'm going to feel overwhelmed. I know that I'm going to feel frustration. And as soon as you acknowledge that, right, you'll be able to be better at tolerating it.
Yeah, and in Symphony, and to Nana's point, just reiterating the same wages, different way. It's called acceptance. Like you
That's
no matter
good.
what the situation or circumstance in life is, and what you're going through, many Americans go through, right? Like you hear
Yeah.
it on politics, you hear about it in the presidential debates and et cetera. But there comes a point where you're saying, okay, if I really want to tackle this, I really want to actually be tackle this with a clear mind and do the best that I can with what I have. It's acceptance, and through that, the anxiety then alleviates, and then you can make just clear, conscious decisions, and just operate from there.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate this because it's been a rough time, I'm not gonna lie.
It's hard.
But
And you're
Oh,
you're
oh,
how
believe
old,
me.
Symphony? How old are you?
oh yeah, I'm 23. No, well, I'm turning 23 next month, so I guess we could do
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
look, we all
22.
relate. You talking to black folks right here that come from grassroots, right? Like
Yeah.
we all know exactly what that's like, and we still deal with the same thing, right? Our numbers may be different, our circumstances may be different, but I had to open up my Amex account the other day and really look at the number and was like, whoa, I did that, and I had to keep myself accountable and actually, and make a decision, which is exactly what I did. And I feel great about that decision because once I accepted it, and then I made a decision, I am now taking steps to move forward. That's the only thing
Yeah.
we can
Come
really do.
on. Come on. And it's so important to have like a community because again, I'm Nigerian, so we do everything in a village. We do things together. And especially living in America, what makes things a bit harder is we're very individualistic and we'll try to process this stuff on our own. And that's just such a not an effective way. So again, definitely take advantage of the Student Dream community. Like we're here to support you. We've been through it, like you're not this anomaly, right? So just so you know, you haven't done anything crazy, right? You may need to build your skills, right? But um, this is normal, especially if we've never been taught about money, never talked about money. How are we supposed to know this stuff? And so that's why we're here. So thank you for sharing that. Um, and then I wanted to ask Dalen, how are you, my brother?
Hey, nice to see you again. Here, let me see.
Yes.
Um, I was sorry. I was in a run from work, but I took a second off to walk away. I was hoping to try to
Long
join us.
time. Good to see you, man.
To come by. Yeah, I think one thing that would be very helpful. First, I responded in the chat as well. I'm Tiffany, and that's a lot. I just turned 23 myself. I know I've been through something similar not too long ago. Yeah, it can definitely be a lot. So I hope that really works out. I said in the chat, it definitely does work out. It always does. I think everybody gets the same chat. It always does. I think we have all been there at least once for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely been there too, but it definitely does get better, and you'll be in like I can tell you a far better place afterwards too, for sure. Pretty soon, usually too. But in terms of like a
Yeah.
thing to take away from this meeting, I think a good thing, something that I wish I learned prior, like before, as well as even right now, I'm still trying to learn is knowing the best places to put your money, like understanding that. I think a lot of billionaires and millionaires might know good ways to do that. I know some people we aren't taught money, obviously, which is why I come to meetings like this. Thank you, Nina, as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry about all the noise in the back. But yeah,
You good.
yeah, but I know that yeah, knowing best place to put your money is definitely super helpful. Like knowing, it would be nice to know, like, should I be putting in certain savings accounts other than others? I know some have high yields or that type of returns compared to like others, or knowing which maybe there's a certain credit cards we're getting, which helps with like understanding my like help with like I don't know, like when it comes to having that money or like that growth. Same for trying to think like maybe certain stocks to go to or CDs accounts like the CD
Yeah.
banks. I forgot what they're called. Like I know it's called CD, but like I'm trying to
Certificate of deposit. Certificate of deposit.
yes,
So
Yeah.
I
yeah,
just
stuff like that. Yeah, understanding. I
just
think knowing those places, or even if my job offers certain things, like I know certain jobs may offer. Hey, maybe my job has a 401k or a Roth IRA for me. I know like um, a lot of other companies are starting to do that more. Not just if you get into like the corporate America job. Like I know like even like retail and stuff like that have that now. Like understanding if that's there for you. I think all that stuff is something you don't really learn until later. It's nice to know like
Yeah.
absolutely.
something
Yeah.
is possible for that. Yeah.
Dalen, that's a great point. I just want to start out that we are not financial advisors.
Right.
So we are not, we're not giving financial investment advice. But as a coach,
That's a disclaimer we
we're
have to say. So
yeah, because some of us are employed
yeah.
at a regulated institution. So I am not a financial advisor currently. So I am not certified to give investment recommendations. However, from personal experience and opinions, we can certainly help provide a little bit of guidance based off our experiences and of course, our own personal investment, things like that. That's also a really, really good point. When I relate to that, Dalen, when I was fresh out of undergrad, starting my career in commercial banking as an analyst, when I got exposed to, other folks and colleagues, that's when I actually really learned, real time of what other people were doing as it pertains to some of the basics of saving through like a 401k or high yield savings account, et cetera. But that's a very, very relatable curiosity, and one which I think you should think about as soon as possible. So I think
Yeah.
that's a great point.
Yeah. That's great. So, man, this is really good, y'all. And we're going to touch on all of this. So I want to actually just give you all just do a quick introduction. You all know me, but you may not have known all of my background, and same with Martin, since we are the two main financial coaches here at Student Dream. So Nina Uguomo, originally from Boston, Massachusetts, family immigrated here from Nigeria, single mom, grandmother raised me, and my first job was at 14 working at McDonald's. And so I've been working for, 20 years, officially 20 years. I am 34 years old, 34 years young, and I love life. And so that first job at McDonald's really taught me like, okay, I got to work, but I could be working a lot of hours and not get a lot of money. And so that's what got me in the mindset of thinking, let me look into this entrepreneurship thing, or just really thinking that, this whole 40 hours a week making minimum wage, it's not for me, right? I learned that at 14. Fast forward to me always having an affinity towards entrepreneurship. I had an idea book growing up. I sold candy at school. I sold clothes, and then I had a lemonade stand, all that, but didn't know that entrepreneurship was a thing. read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad on the recommendation from one of my friends who I worked at the sandwich shop with. Shout out to Dean Chappie, who's now a really successful guy in the financial industry. He introduced me to that book, and that book just started helping me, again, start thinking about financial literacy and cash flow, assets, liabilities, but I never put it into action. I never knew how to really put it into action. Went to Howard University, studied international business and marketing with a Spanish minor. And that's when I started, again, going to all these different events and conferences around entrepreneurship and business. But again, I didn't know that you could actually, that people actually started companies or invested in companies for a living. Graduate from Howard University in 2012, moved to big New York City, start working in tech. And there I first found out about investing and venture capital and entrepreneurship, and saw that people are actually investing in companies for a living. They are starting companies for a living, and that you could do this. And I was like, what? This is amazing. I want to play this game. And then I was like, where are all the Black people? And that's what really inspired me to start Student Dream, really building out this community of initially young Black entrepreneurs. But then I realized, not everybody's supposed to be an entrepreneur, right? Not everybody has the skills to be an entrepreneur, but anybody can be an owner through investing, right? Through real estate investment trusts, through stocks, through working and getting a job that lines up with your skills and your needs and your wants. Anybody can become an owner and build out their financial health. And so that's really where this idea of Student Dream came about, really based on the idea that Black wealth matters. And we want to build it, right? We want to help every student that comes through Student Dream get to their first dollar of wealth before and after graduation, right? Because most students, Black or not, but most students struggle with money. And so we want to help you win with money before and after graduation by learning the basics. And so through my time working in tech, working in finance, and then now starting Student Dream, probably 10 years ago now, I've really learned the game, and I was able to get through Howard, thankfully, with $80,000 in scholarships. I had 3 full-time paid internships while I was a student. I would get refund checks in the form of scholarships that I spent on TVs and trips, and I didn't invest it, unfortunately, because I didn't know this. But I still, got my debt fully forgiven. And had a job that I enjoyed that paid me handsomely with a bonus after graduation. So again, I didn't learn any of that from my parents or anything. And so my story can be your story. And so I definitely get it, and just wanted to give you that context before we dive in. And I took a lot of time. So Martin, if you can just be brief in your quick introduction, and then we can jump into what does it look like to budget like a billionaire?
Yeah, absolutely. I know we're short on time. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from Chicago, born and raised. I share a little personal about my background, the hard work my mom did with my sister and I as a single mom on the west side of Chicago. What really set me on the path to being a first generation college student was pursuing opportunities in education. So I earned 2 scholarships in the 8th grade. I went to a Catholic Jesuit school, which is 2 hours away from my home. So really was on that grind. I was a student athlete. That's what helped me really branch out, if you will, and really discover myself. That led me to becoming a D1 athlete at the University of Illinois at Chicago, also known as UIC. Majored in economics, graduated undergrad in 2017. So if you can guess my age, I just turned 30 a couple months ago. I decided to break into finance, as I mentioned before, primarily because of my upbringing and just my own personal aspirations. Finance isn't the only industry to be in to make money. Finance is the only place to be. But for me at the time, just given my exposure, and my own personal ambitions, I decided to break into finance. So I've been in commercial banking at Wells Fargo. I've also been in sales and trading at Morgan Stanley. I'm still working at Morgan Stanley. I'm currently transitioning over to a role within wealth management, working with financial advisors and their clients. But this is definitely a big passion of mine. Just given the fact that, look, like we've all been there, I'm still learning. But this area of focus and coaching this area and educating and helping people is truly why it is that I'm here, and I'm truly passionate about this particular area. So nice to meet you all, and happy to
Awesome.
chat and connect as well
Yeah.
outside of this forum. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Martin. And I want to say this as well before we dive in, just disclaimer, right? This, you'll always have to do this. So we are not financial advisors and do not hold any certifications or qualifications to provide investment advice. Any opinions that we express regarding personal finance, financial products, or investment strategies are solely our own and should not be construed as professional financial advice. Our views are based on personal experience, research, and general knowledge. They do not reflect the opinions or policies of any organization, institution, or firm we may be affiliated with. Investing in financial markets carries risks, and individuals should conduct their own research or consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. We do not assume any responsibility or liability for any financial decisions or consequences arising from the use of information provided. Okay? But we do have really good personal experience, right? And so as we dive in, y'all, big 4 topics, big 4 points, okay? So write this down, take note, big 4 points. If you want to budget like a billionaire, oof, I just love it. That's going to be I'm going to turn that into an ebook or something. That's just beautiful. We trademarked that today, y'all. If you want to budget like a billionaire,
That's right.
you need to do 4 things, y'all. Write this down, type it in the chat. You need to, number 1, get a financial vision. Number 2, get a financial goals. Number 3, get a financial plan. And number 2, get a financial system. Number 4, rather. So those are the 4 things, y'all. If you want to budget like a billionaire, you need to have financial vision. You need to have financial goals. You need to have a financial plan, and you need to have a financial system. Are you all familiar with the book Atomic Habits?
By James Clear.
By James Clear, right?
Good,
So
good book.
we don't accomplish our goals because we have goals. We accomplish our goals because we have systems, right? I have a system that allows me to work every day, that allows me to get a check every 2 weeks, that allows me to get some money coming in every week, right? Because of some other passive income. It allows me to save regularly, to invest regularly, to give regularly. I have systems in place to spend regularly. And so that is a big part of it. But we'll talk about those 4 areas. But go ahead, Martin. What's up?
Oh, one thing I wanted to add that just stood out to me really briefly, and I'm sure we're going to go into this. So excuse me if I'm jumping ahead, but when it comes to financial vision and financial goals, the first 2 points, I mean, number 1, like we all have financial vision, whether we know it or not, right? Who in this room wants to get married one day? That's going to cost money, right? Who wants to go on vacation?
Yeah.
Who wants to own a home? Who wants to buy a car, right? Who wants to get those new Jordans? I mean, come on, right? We all have financial visions, right? Because the things we want to do, right, they cost money. And then to your second point, just real briefly, when it comes to financial goals, right? We're not just talking about just one goal, right? We're talking about short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. Like one day, knock on wood, we're all going to be 65 and we're going to want to retire one day, right? That's a separate bucket.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna be 45 and want to retire. My goal is to retire in the next 7 years by 40.
Yes,
so.
and for me, I'm trying to retire as soon as possible. So, but my whole point is that when I've talked to financial advisors and financial planners, one of the big topics that come up, and even when you're working with institutional clients in specific areas, is what's your wiggle room? What's your time frame? And I think that thinking about your financial goals in terms of short term, i.e. the next 6 months to a year, medium term, maybe 2 to 5 years, or maybe 10, or in the long-term goals, maybe 10 plus, right? And those are questions that would actually come up if you were to connect with a financial advisor, right? And so those are some of the things you should probably think about with your financial goals, because if you don't do it, who else is going to do it? So anyway, I'm just gonna stop
and you got to remember, y'all, this is Student Investors Club. Right? We call it Student Investors Club because every single one of you here, Dalen, Symphony, Daryl, Jada, myself, and Martin, we believe that we're worth the investment, right? That I didn't just name this group Student Investors for any reason. I made it because every single person here is a student and every single person here is an investor. I'm not in school, but I'm a student. Martin's not in school, but he's a student, right? Because we have to keep learning if we really value our futures. We have to keep investing if we really value our futures. And that's the name Student Investors. We're lifelong learners who have a growth mindset and believe that we are worth the investment. And so you have to invest in yourself, and you all are doing that by spending your time here. And so when we talk about financial vision, Martin hit it on the head, right? Like, yo, what's your vision? When we think about who do you want to become? And let me actually start with what our definition of wealth is, right? Wealth is defined by Student Dream. Wealth is earning and saving more than you spend with joy, integrity, and generosity. Here at Student Dream, we define wealth as earning and saving more than you spend with integrity, joy, and generosity, right? That's our vision for you. Our vision is for you to be financially, is to you to build your Black wealth, because Black wealth matters. So we want you to build your Black wealth. And for us to know that we're doing our job well, I need to know that Jada is earning and saving more than she's spending with joy, integrity, and generosity. Student Dream is successful when I know that Symphony is earning and saving more than she's spending with joy, integrity, and generosity. Student Dream is a success when Daryl is earning and saving more than he's spending with joy, integrity, and generosity. Student Dream is a monumental success and are doing our job and deserve your money, the money of our grant donors, the money of other people, when Dalen is earning and saving more than he's spending with joy, integrity, and generosity. Because myself, I've been able to do that for myself. Martin's been able to do that for himself. Other students that we've worked with have been able to do that. And we want to keep doing that. And so because personal finance is personal, we need to know, well, what's your financial vision? And so I'll start with mine. Martin will share his, and then we'll have you all exercise it out, right? So my financial vision, I love it. It makes me so excited. My financial vision is to earn and save more than I spend with joy, integrity, and generosity. And what does that specifically looks like? That specifically looks like me earning a minimum, and again, I know my numbers, a minimum of $250,000 gross from a mix of a full-time job and passive income streams that include an international bed and breakfast franchise that appeal to the travelers in the Black diaspora, to host them and welcome them at international locations. It includes an international franchise of coffee shops, cafe lounges that are community oriented, where people can actually connect with each other and get to know each other. And it's a membership. So you're actually required to talk to people in order to become a member. When you go into the coffee shop, you wear a name tag. I know your name, you know my name. If you're sitting next to Daryl, you guys have to have a conversation before you can start working and get the Wi-Fi code. In the evenings, it'll turn into a spot where we have spoken word, open mics, live music. We can do event spaces, all that, right? And I want to be maxing out my investment accounts. I want to have multifamily properties across the world. I want to be able to have the capacity to travel luxuriously to every country in the world, with, not just by myself, but with my family of 5 to 15, right? Because I want to have 3 to 7 kids. I want to adopt. I want to foster kids, right? I want to be able to give hilariously to education scholarships, to artists. I want to be able to purchase Symphony's, work, no problem. Yeah, right. That's pretty inspiring. That's part of my vision, y'all. I didn't even tell you everything. Oh, I want to get massages twice a week. I want to do therapy twice a week because therapy is expensive. I want to, what else? I want to be able to go horseback riding every week. I want to do jujitsu every month. Jujitsu costs $250 a month, y'all. So it's not cheap. I want to go golfing, right? I want to do go-kart racing. I want to buy a boat. I like being on the water. So I do want to buy a boat. But this is fun, and all this stuff costs money, right? But it's a part of my vision. And when I die, right, I don't want to have a GoFundMe, right? I want it to be paid for, not throwing shade at nobody, but y'all, I don't want nobody to have to worry about me I want them to be able to cry their eyes out at my funeral because y'all love me so much, so y'all should be crying at my funeral. But you're not going to be worrying about my about paying for it. They'll be like, dang, Nana gave me a check at her funeral. I want to be able to give everybody a check at my funeral. That'll be the party favor, you know, get some chicken ants in the check, chicken and a check. You know, I want to be a blessing when I live, when I die. And so that's my financial vision, y'all. And I want you guys to have a clear vision like that. So that's me, but we'll go to Martin next, and then we'll go around the horn. And feel free to type it in the chat, just what your vision is. Like, where do you see? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Definitely an area that I should probably narrow down a little bit more clearly for you guys for illustration purposes. But just for sake of conversation, one of my financial goals and what
Vision.
makes, or excuse me, one of my financial visions is to become financially free and be able to walk away from my job ASAP, as soon as possible, my day job as soon as possible. What does that look like? I think that everybody has their own number in mind. For me, that number looks anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 a month, which comes out to anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000 a year in passive income. And what does that look like? For me, I'm very interested in real estate, particularly multifamily properties. If you think about it, right, if you buy one property, and let's just say that one property is, you know, you're making $5,000 in passive income from that one property. Well, 25,000 divided by 5,000 would be 5, so that would equal 5 properties to be able to do that. There's obviously some intricacies, right? You have to pay a mortgage, you have to figure out how to pay that mortgage down and things like that. But eventually, by the time I'm older, I want those properties as well as my other personal investments to be able to accumulate to, you know, the numbers that I mentioned before, which makes me feel, you know, pretty comfortable to pretty much do whatever I want to do, wherever I want to go, and essentially, you know, have assets assets that are income producing assets that are paying for my expenses. You know, and don't get me wrong, like, do I want to I want more? Of course. But as far as my baseline and my financial vision, it's financial freedom through passive income and allowing my money to work for me while I'm doing whatever I want to do and wherever I want to go. That's something that's a vision of mine that's really important.
I love it. I love it. And so I hope this gave you all some context into what vision looks like, right? And we dive a lot deeper into this through our Student Investors Gold program, where we can really sit down with you to really work and to pull out your vision. There's a beautiful proverb that says, a man's heart is like deep waters, but a man of understanding will pull it out. So a lot of times we have the vision, like a lot of us know what we want, but don't know what we want, because we haven't taken that time to really reflect and pull out, man, what is it that I actually want and need? And
Can you say that quote one more time? I'm sorry. I gotta write that one down.
Yeah, it's a Proverbs.
Man's what?
Let me find it. Hold on. It says, a man's heart is like deep waters, but a man of understanding draws it out. Let me actually look it up, the exact scripture. It's one of my favorite Proverbs. It is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 5. As deep water, so counsel is in the heart of a man, but a wise man shall draw it out. So it's like, man, it's in your heart, but it's like you gotta take that time to pull it out. The purpose, and another version says, the purpose in a man's heart is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. So man or woman, right? But it's beautiful.
I think one of the big takeaways, especially when it comes to, you know, wealth building and saving money and things like that, it's like, it's not just about saving money, but it's about seeking the knowledge and actually knowing what to do and basically building your mental toolkit. That's how you actually do it. You know,
and I would add the game changer, Martin, though. I would add, because a lot of us, this is the missing link, y'all. This is the missing link. If we can get this right, I promise you, like, you'll be a winner. It's the emotional piece. Because literally, y'all, if you understand neuroscience, so we have our amygdala is the bottom part of our brain. That's like our feeling center. And then we have our frontal cortex. That's our performance center. That's how we can make rational decisions. But if your nervous system, if you're stressed, if something triggers you, you can know, I need to get a job, or I need to get a better job. I know I need to get a better job. But if you're stressed out, and you're like, you're not fully processing those feelings, you can never make the right decision, because transformation happens from the bottom up. So until you're able to fully process those feelings, you can never, your brain can never, your nervous system can never move to your frontal cortex that will help you to make the decision, because you're stuck here. That's why you need to process it, because once you process it, then you move slowly but surely to the front, and then you can make the decision. And this is the thing that people miss, right? So it's not about just pulling things up from your bootstraps and just, oh, I know how to budget like a billionaire. No, you need to know how to budget like a billionaire. Part of budgeting like a billionaire is processing your feelings. So at the end of this, we're going to talk about what feelings are coming up as we're doing these exercises, and even start to pay attention. So before I dive into asking you all about your vision, can you all share with me, either in the chat or verbally, it'd be great to hear some of y'all speak, what feelings are coming up as we are doing this exercise? Either as you're hearing us speak, as I'm asking you these questions, what feelings have come up, and feel free to take your time to process that.
I feel like I'm pretty excited in the way of I guess especially after you spoken, and I was like, oh wow, like that's actually a really big brain move. So it's like, okay, hold on. I feel like recently I've been more situational, and I know that I have to get out of that mindset, because me just seeing what's in front of me when there's actually so much more out there. So I was excited writing down my financial vision instead of just putting, like, the basic things that I already know that I need.
That's good. Thank you.
I feel inspired and hopeful. I feel like you guys are like very real, so it's not like the fluff, like, yeah, we were already here, like we already made it. I feel like the vulnerability is like especially like what you and like Martin like saying, like how you guys like didn't come from, generational wealth, and like you had to like get it out. He's talked about like being from like Chicago, and like having like not coming from that wealth, but like seeing his mom like push, and I feel like I relate to that. So I feel like, and then to see where he's at now, being able to buy, those anime, like the stuff that he likes, I feel like it's very
Yeah.
inspiring, and it shows me that I could start, like I'm good starting like where I'm at. Like I didn't need to be set up that way. I mean, it would have been lovely, but
Right.
like
And
I'm
that's what we're
learning
gonna,
now.
our kids are gonna be blessed, right? Your
Yeah.
children's children they're gonna have it good.
Yes.
Right. But yeah. What about you, Daryl or Dalen?
Sure, I can go as well. I think that it's nice. It's nice in the sense of I feel like I had a financial. I mean, I have a financial vision, but I never really put into words. And I think today was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. So like almost like more so making sure like honing in on that. It's helpful in a sense of being able to still pursue it. I think that's really nice. I think I agree with everybody else who was very excited to kind of go, okay, cool. I feel like I'm getting more of a footing on understanding of
Nice.
people, like, hey, like, this is like what I'm working towards and everything. Because like when you guys were talking, I was like, oh, that's a financial vision. Okay, that I think that's what I set for myself, but I didn't realize that's what I was setting for myself, if that makes sense. Until after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's really cool. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm feeling currently. Yeah. So I guess excited like other people were saying as well, and feel more of an understanding. Also, what you said about the stress thing is like super real too. Like I know that um being in a stress and a fight or flight makes it very hard to not only make the decision, but even have that motivation to
Yeah.
like, cause like I feel like a lot of people will see people and they're like, oh well, I mean, if you want something, you should just do it. And it's like, but the issue is more of like, and even they say like people. I mean, I know even for me, I'm hard on myself, and I've just started getting better with not being so hard on. Hey, just because you
Yeah.
did it in the past, just because you had the motivation in the past, doesn't mean you might have it now because you may be more stressed now. So you may need to take that second.
Right.
So yeah, that's like super huge too. I think a lot of people kind of skip over that. They feel like, oh, I just gotta keep pushing, keep pushing. It's
Completely.
like
Completely.
pushing may
Woo.
put you in a worse position. Yeah.
And one day you guys will hear my story. I mean, that was me for like, honestly, up until like 2 weeks ago. So I was like, for 12 years, my 12 years running Student Dream, I would have the ebbs and flows, right? When I wasn't stressed, we're good. When I got stressed, ooh, and I didn't know that I was dealing with all this unprocessed emotions. But I I could like think it was like an out of body experience where I could look at myself and be like, yo, why am I just turning on the TV and like vegging out for like 8 hours? You know, why am I just like not able to clean my house? And why am I, you know, like, man. But I didn't know, like in my head, I knew I should not be doing this, but I couldn't stop. And, you know, it was only recently through therapy, really like understanding, yo, it's because you're not processing your feelings. And yeah, but once I have, like, it's been amazing. So yeah, so I say a lot to say emotions, we have to feel them and process them so that we can actually move forward and make a good decision. Daryl.
Yeah, I have like a little, I feel like doubt because I feel like I'm not financially educated enough for my vision to even come to pass. Like I don't have the skills and the financial like mindset to be able to even like have the vision that I would want. Like I do desire a financial vision, but it's like I don't have nobody to really like push me into like getting that vision grounded and really like going after it. So it's like, but I'm also feeling like encouraged because like I know that I'm not always gonna be where I'm at right now. You know, I'm always gonna move forward, but it's just like it's hard seeing it. You know,
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, man. I know that that takes a lot of vulnerability because that's not the most comfortable feeling, that doubt. And you know, I don't know what your story has been of whether or not you've had people in the past to support you or who've been supported or who maybe, you know, people could have like spoken down on you and be like, oh, Daryl, you can't do this. And so I definitely apologize if you've had those experiences growing up where, you know, maybe people didn't really give you the support that you needed to instill that confidence in you. And that's a real place to be. And two things can be true at the same time. We can feel doubt and encouragement at the same time. Because again, feelings don't need to make sense. We just need to feel them, you know? And yeah,
You,
and I just do
you know,
want you to know that like we are here to support you, right? This is a big part of it is like, yo, Coach Nina's here, Coach Martin's here, and then Jada's here, Dalen's here, Symphonize here. We really want to start building out that community so you know that even if you didn't have it in the past, you have it now. Like people who support you, believe in you. Because I mean, I've had like if I didn't have some of my homegirls being like, Nina, student dream is good. I would have quit this thing like once a week. I be wanting to quit. I'm like, I can't do this. I need people to shake me. So
you, you, Netta makes a great point, Daryl, and your how you feel is completely normal. Especially if you have not naturally just had the exposure or been around the right people or the resources, right? Just because I recognize just because we're Black don't mean that we all have the same experiences, but I recognize that there are folks that come from more privileged backgrounds, whether it be middle class, upper middle class, et cetera. Everybody has different levels, right? We all have the cards that are dealt. But I think that you should have reassurance that number one, right, action is the language of the universe. You being here is a reflection of your desire to gain financial independence and to gain the tools that you need to succeed in whatever your financial goals are. So you do have financial vision, hence why you are here.
come
So I think that
on.
you should give yourself more credit and actually be confident in the fact that because you are present and you are seeking by simply, you may not know what you want to do, but you are literally placing yourself in the environment, right? That means you are making a step towards your financial future. So you should have confidence after this call.
That's good. That's good. All right. So let's talk about our financial vision. Who wants to go first? Give us a quick little and I know that we're over time, so feel free if you have to hop, feel free. But I'm down to stay at least until like the next 20 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll stay until 2 to really make sure we get through this. But if you have to hop, no worries. So who wants to go first? Who's bold enough?
I don't mind going first. I just turned off my camera because I'm eating right now. That's the only
Enjoy
reason.
your food, girl. It's about lunchtime too. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I wanted to eat before I got out of here. But my financial goal, or not goal, vision is I want to launch my creative and art studio. That and I'm also interested in making a creative social club for creatives to feel welcome, celebrated, and connect with others. Because if I don't know if anybody's noticed, but a lot of times we're all just so focused on working that we don't ever, take time to actually have fun, just chill and stuff like that. I was like,
Ooh,
oh, this is
talk
really
about it,
nice,
girl.
right?
Talk.
And then what else do I have? Oh, I want to truly become an independent artist where I don't have to ever work a 9 to 5 again. And I want to be able to travel with my friends and be able to afford it without having to worry about like, oh, do I have to do those payment plans and stuff like that? And travel
Yeah.
for my own sake. And then the things that I already know that I'm working on is that I also want a car, my own home, and a family home because I feel like with my family, almost everybody once in their life has been displaced, and we don't really have anywhere to go except for certain family members' homes that we're not to say we're not fond of them, but it's not the best situation. And I
Yeah.
think it'd be nice if we had a home that was, I guess, always vacant, so that if push comes to shove, you need somewhere to crash, you can always go there instead of having to pitch up underneath somebody else's in their own home. So I think that's
I
my
love that. Come
my
on.
vision.
Woo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Watch out, world. Watch out, world. We got some vision. Because the word says, without a vision, the people perish, man. But when you got a vision, we can go somewhere. We can go somewhere. All right. Jada, talk to me. What's that vision, girl?
I want to have a retirement plan. So like if I do choose to like still work, it's because I want to work, not because like I'm forced to work to have to, pay the bills. I want to start my own Christian streetwear clothing brand. Um, I want to have my own homeless shelter where it's like I set up the, less fortunate people to like get jobs and like get the medicine that they need for like mental illness because I feel like I have a calling to homeless
Yes.
people. Um, what else? I want to be able to travel like 3 times a year with my family. I want my own home, but I also want to do like I don't know if it's like real if I would call it real estate, but like I would want to be like a landlord for multiple places. Um, I would want to fund other kids like tuitions and stuff like that because I know college is expensive and I want to like pay it
Yeah.
forward because I didn't have to pay for school, but I do know that like college is expensive, so I would want to like start a program where it's like I could, fund that. Um, I don't know what else.
That's good. That's
I want
good.
a Tesla truck. I think I told you that
Yes.
before.
Yes.
So yeah.
I
And
love it.
my mom wants a farm, so I want to be able to buy her a farm and like her own building because I know that she likes to do a lot of like philanthropic work with like the kids and like fashion and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
would like want to get her like jump started with that. And yeah, I feel like that.
I
And my
love
dad
it.
wants a boat too, so I want to get him a boat. Like I said, I'm
Yes.
a giver, so I gotta
And that's
put
so
that in my
important.
vision.
It's so important. Yes, y'all. We got to be true to just the unique, beautiful, and wonderful way that you've been wired. It's so important to honor that. Part of, I believe, just really like valuing yourself is really respecting just the unique things that can make you you. And so I
Yeah.
love that you said that. You're like, yo, I'm a giver. Like, because a lot of times we try to stuff that down and without being like, nah, like, yo, actually, I really do like to give. And it bothers me that I'm not able to give as much as I want to right now. Like that's how I'm feeling. Or have how I've felt. I'm like, dang, I really want to. I really wish I could just pay for dinner for everybody. You
Yeah.
know, like that's a desire of mine. But the question is, it's like, okay, how do I do that? I can't do that now, but how do I do that? And
Yeah.
that's where we start going into goals. So I love that. Daryl and then Dalen.
I want to be able to retire early at my law enforcement career job so that after I retire, I'll be able to start like a security company that gets like contracts with like the government and private sector. And also I would like to like start a mentoring like group for young men in like urban neighborhoods, like they need the support that,
Yeah.
I wish that I had. I'll be able to spread the knowledge to them. And that can be like mental program can be comprised of like financial and emotional, spiritual, support. Um,
Yeah.
Also I would like to have a family, a full and have my own house, but also like be a landlord or own other houses, properties. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Come on, vision. And this gets you excited. Like vision, it gets you motivated because you realize, man, this is what I want. And so once you've dealt with the emotional stress and your nervous system is calm, and you have that vision, man, knowing nothing can stop you. I'm all the way up. Da, 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 da. I wish I could just play that song over the background. But like people ask me, like, man, Nana, how do you have so much energy? How do you have so much energy? Yo, it's because I'm feeling my feelings, I'm processing them. I have great friends, a great support network, and I have vision, right? Because y'all, you talk, everybody talk about I'm inspired. It's because you have a vision. And it's like, man, I like Daryl just showed me his vision. That makes me excited. I'm like, man, I want to see that happen. So it makes me want to even support you more, right? Jade, I'm like, man, I want to see her get that Tesla truck. Let me go talk to Elon, right? Like Elon, if you're watching this, Jada wants that Tesla truck and she deserves it. And she'll be a great brand ambassador. So it gets you excited, y'all. So once you've dealt with the emotional baggage and your nervous system is calm, then you're able to like do what you need to do. And then you can stay motivated. That vision is you're gonna be like, yeah, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. if I need to. Yeah, I'll stay late if I need to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll take a break if I need to, which you do. We rest in this, we believe in rest. But it's like, that's what's gonna get you motivated because that vision, you're like, yo, I really do want that boat. So let me
That's a
do
good
what I
point.
need to do.
Yeah. Did everybody go? Yeah, sorry, before I jump.
No, Dalen's gonna
Oh,
wrap us
sorry.
in.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah, I would say I think I'm still working on my financial goals, but I think I have some understandings of them. So I feel like I have a very broad one. I used to have a lot of other ones, and I think I've hit a certain, or at least like I had certain goals, and I think they were a lot lower than I really like am shooting for inherently.
Yeah.
So I was reaching them and I went, oh, okay, cool, this is cool. But the goal originally was it was more simple. It was just get a salary job that pays enough for me to have a nice apartment, basically. And now I'm like,
That's
okay, cool.
okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, now it helped. It worked out. It was good, So I'm like, this is cool. But now I'm like, okay, what's next at this point? So I think right now I'm working on that. But I think the biggest thing I would
Where
like
are you
to
working?
Right now I work at Lincoln Financial. Lincoln Financial Group. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's a little chiller than I worked at a couple other companies before. Actually, in between now and I know you guys don't really know me much, but Nina and I know each other. And
Yeah.
Nina, was very funny. I came back over to the previous apartment I was at right when I was a part of this, when I was the first, I guess the last time I was on a call, part of this group.
Yeah.
I came back to, hey, what's going on, man? I came back to get a haircut, and I just happened to be like, I was checking out and I was like, that's very funny how things align. I have not been here in so long or whatever, but I came by, get a haircut from a friend that lives here, that I go to school with at Morgan State.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I came by and I'm like, that's funny. These things kind of lined up. The last time I was in the meeting, whatever, was when I was at this building too.
That's
But
wild.
yeah,
That's wild.
so but since then, yeah, it kind of worked out. I've worked at a lot of companies in between, but I know I've kind of I learned a little bit, which was another financial goal or another goal, not inherently financial, was I enjoy having some free time, having a job that doesn't take too much of my free time as much, and I got that too. Like a lot of that stuff worked out, and I'm like, that's dope. Which is interesting. So because of that, reason why I'm thinking I'm working on my financial goals now is I hit those goals and I went, oh, well, what do I do now? Essentially, which and I think that happens to a lot of people, especially if you have like lower goals where you'll start hitting these goals and you go, oh, okay. And I kind of burnt out for a while. I'm not going to lie. I think for the last year, I've been on very much so very kind of drifting time where I'm like, well, I hit everything. I guess I can relax now, but it's like I have way more things I really would like to do. So I just started working on setting those more. So I think that goes now, I would say I'm still working on it. So this is a work in progress. But I think what I would say is I know one is definitely not to have any financial worries at all. Like I would like to literally, if something costs money, it shouldn't even be a problem. It shouldn't be something that I, am in any way kind of concerned about. At all. Like, yeah, if I want to go on a trip, that should be fine. Another thing is I do enjoy traveling. Having being able to travel at least once a month would be nice. Maybe once every 2 months. Because
we're talking domestic or we're talking international?
Either or, whatever.
Okay. We talking
that
first
makes a
class,
difference.
we talking first class, or we talking coach, or we talking
whatever I feel like doing. Yeah, I guess so. If it's first
private jet, we talking.
Or either or, yeah. Like I said, I guess right now project is inherently the thought, but I go, you know what? Maybe, yeah. I get, but I think my goal is just have enough of that, which is why I'm like, that's not really a full goal. I'm going to try to have a better, more standard goal because right now it goes whatever I got, whatever I would like to pay for cool. It shouldn't be a problem. I shouldn't have to worry about it. Essentially, I
Yeah.
should have here. But I'm so I guess like yeah, traveling once a month would be nice. Another goal of I think it would be nice to be able to have an influx of income coming in without inherently being like I know you have to work a little bit, but like not inherently having my salary job like instead of working, just something of income coming in pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Passive income. It's called
Yeah, some
income.
passive
Yeah.
passive income. I like to figure out a way to automate that as well. So like almost as if I don't physically have to work to do it. It's just coming in. I work with artificial intelligence right now, so I'm trying to do something with that as well to try to
Mm.
have something automated for me besides
Mhm.
just look updating the code. But like, but yeah,
Right.
I think those are the goals right now. But I think I want to. I still I have more for sure that I'm working on. But I think I've as of like literally this week, literally this week, I think I started going,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? I think I'm good now. I think we're all good. I got to start getting back on it. Cause I was like, what you said, you know, when you were talking
Yeah.
about how like, yeah, sitting on the couch for like hours and just I'm playing games or I watch TV. And I'm like, I really don't, I don't know. I don't know why I just don't have the same motivation I normally do. I think this is, and I just kind of went, I kept trying, but sometimes I was like, hey, you know what? Today I just need sleep. It's okay. And
Yeah.
tomorrow will be better. And sometimes tomorrow's better, sometimes tomorrow's the same. But it's like I think now
Yeah.
it's starting to get a lot better. But that's why I was saying for a lot of people here too, like it does get better. I mean, I've been in 100% like the same situations I was at this year. I've been there like in obviously it's nicer being in a nicer apartment, my own apartment, but in the past I've been in the same situation like you know like way worse. I don't know if anybody knows parts of Baltimore or whatever, but I'm definitely not inherently any like good parts of
Yeah.
Baltimore
Yeah.
and stuff. But I, you
Mhm.
know, same situation. But you kind of learn to just, yeah, like I said, things get better. You kind of push through. You know, understand things, but at the same time, take that time to, you know, if you're stressed, take the time to like Nina said, like understand your feelings and stuff. I think that's like I said, I think this week I'm finally starting to finally get back into the groove of things. I feel like, you know, I'm like
Yeah.
getting back to
What
my
do you think
routine and stuff.
changed? What shifted? Because you said you're
Um,
trying to get back to it. What shifted?
I think
Because
there's a
that's
few.
important to pay attention to.
I think I started having more things to inherently like look forward to. I feel like I was getting very
Mm.
in the same routine of things. Like I think with my job and stuff, I was like, okay, I wake up, I do the job. I don't have to leave the house; it's remote, so I don't
Yeah.
anywhere to go. All my friends kind of like went to different states and stuff after school. My significant other, my girlfriend, she moved back home and everything because
Yeah.
they all left for school. I'm like, I'm still here. I don't really have
Yeah.
anything to do. What am I going to do? So I don't have any reason to leave the house. You know, all this other stuff. I started kind of like making things for myself to do. Like I know I was like
Good.
set things for myself, and it was slowly kind of waking myself up. I did that for like the last like 4 or 5 months. So for example, I recently got back into I like WWE as a kid. I don't know if you guys know what WWE is.
Nice.
Like
Stone
as a
Cold
kid,
Steve
Definitely.
Austin, The Rock.
yeah.
I got 3 older brothers, so yeah.
Yeah, I got out of it for a while, and I went to a local show. It's like $12 for like lower,
Nice.
like a different organization that did it. And I went, oh my gosh! Like me and my girlfriend were like, oh, we love this. This is awesome. So I never been to a live show before. I went to the WrestleMania, which is like the biggest one show.
Yeah.
Myself to that, and I went, you know what, I'm going to do this because I saved up money for it, went to it, and I started going, okay, you know what, I can start doing more things that I can look forward to as much. And I think having that and having those like smaller financial goals rather than a very large one helped me go, okay, cool, I'm saving up for this. Cool, I have something to look forward to, and it's kind of motivating me to get out the bed and get things
Yeah.
just I think feel better overall. Like I think that was something I just wanted to feel healthy and feel more better overall. Like yeah, so I guess looking
Mhm.
forward to things. I think looking forward to things slowly
Yes.
woke
And
me
that's
up out of my system.
joy. That's the
Yes,
joy,
yeah,
right? When we talk about earning and saving more than you spend with
mhm,
joy, integrity, and generosity, so like, and I want to cut you off because this is really important. So I mentioned that I worked for a billionaire, and it was a family office, but when I first started that position, I was working at a multifamily office. Multifamilies means it's the wealth of not just one family, but 2 families. And so, this even makes me teary-eyed when I think about it. So one of the families was Edgar Brofman, but the other family was J. Michael Klein, who was the founder of Fandango. And I don't know if you all saw this on the news last week, but he jumped off of the Kimberly Hotel building from the 20th floor down to the 3rd floor courtyard. He committed suicide. He took his life, right? This is a billionaire, who I worked with. He had 6 children, wife and 6 children. And again, we don't know what's going on, but it just goes to show you, like, for all of those people who think that, man, I could just have wealth is just money and I'm good. It's not, man. Like, my heart drops even talking about this. Like, yo, this brother, I worked with this man, this was like what, 2017, but and at that time I was like, yeah, I want to be a billionaire too. Let me just have all that money. But yo, this dude had all the money in the world, multiple homes, Hamptons, Florida, New York, but and he had children and he had a wife, right? Things that we thought are what it means to be wealthy, but clearly there was something, a piece of that joy and integrity, and again, not fully processing what's going on emotionally, that would drive him to do that. And so, yeah, man, that's so important, Dalen, like to really, again, because money is just a tool. Like work is just, it's something we do. It's not who we are. And it's so important to like really know what are those things that make your heart come alive. And I pray that it's not just going to Lincoln Financial. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, or for me, going to Student Dream, like what makes me come alive is being here and doing this stuff with you all. It's chopping it up with Martin, getting to work with other dope team members, getting to visit one of my girlfriends here in DC, and playing basketball, going for walks. Like those are the things that make my heart come alive. And I love this saying. It says, if you love it, do it every day. If you love it, do it every day. Like our lives are not supposed to revolve around work. That's not what, again, work can be fun, and I hope it is, but there's more to life than work. And
So,
it's so important. Yeah. That's why I'm so
oh,
glad we started with the anime, like that's like,
yeah.
because it's really a full circle moment. Like, yo, there's other things. So go ahead.
So, yeah, no, I didn't mean to cut you off, and I
Yeah.
just you sparked a really good point and something I thought that Dalen said, where you talked when the first I think your first statement Dalen, was something along the lines of you were working your financial vision, but one of your financial visions for a long time was just to get a good job and get a good paying job. And my point about the day job perspective, and then and everybody, is that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the vision of that's why we go to school. That's why we went to college, or that's why we work on our creative interest or whatever it is. There's a influencer on social media that said it best. And he's somebody that's very successful, has multiple investment properties, things like that. He worked in finance. He decided he got a little arrogant. He bought his first couple properties, decided to leave his job, then he almost went bankrupt and decided to go back to getting his full-time job. But what he said was, which I took away, was the fact that your job is your first business partner. So, Dalen, when you
Ooh.
talk about wanting to get passive income and basically do whatever you want to do, right? For us, because we come from humble beginnings, obviously we clearly have to work, right? Like you can take your earned income and you can do other things with it, which is exactly what I'm doing, exactly what Nana's doing,
Yeah.
and many other people do. So, so I think that sometimes if and there's nothing wrong with being incorporated and retiring corporate either. I'm just simply saying, making a point that, your job can be a purpose, and the purpose, in my opinion, my point of view, is it's your first business partner,
That's
which can create
brilliant.
opportunities.
I love that. That's so good. And so y'all, we're about to wrap up. We're definitely going to have and this is why we have a full program, because there's so much more to cover. We barely scratched the surface on financial vision, right? There's 3 other pieces. So we'll have, over the next 3 weeks, we'll go over the other 3 pieces. Budget Like a Billionaire Part 3. We'll talk about financial goals. Budget Like a Billionaire Part 4. We'll talk about financial planning, and then we'll talk about your financial system. Okay. And so, it's going to take us about 3 weeks to work through all that. But I really wanted to just share, more of how we can help you move forward, because this is a real big part of what we're doing. Clearly, we barely scratch the surface in 90 minutes of conversation. And so we have a whole program that's really going to help you all achieve these goals, not just budget like a billionaire, but really move forward and build your Black wealth, whatever that looks like for you. And so what does that actually look like? So when overall, I want to see y'all secure the bag, right? Like that's the big dream that I have for each and every one of you on this call. And to really do that, right, you got to take action, right? We've talked about it. We've started to craft our visions, see that we need to adjust our visions. And, what we're offering, it's really for students who are tired of being broke, like, which was me, right? Which is many of y'all. Like, I'm tired of being broke, whether that's broke in my earnings, broke in my spending, broke in my joy, broke in my integrity, broke in my generosity, right? We want to really serve y'all. And so we want to see y'all win, because most students are struggling with money, but we want you to win with money before and after graduation. And so for many of y'all, you're in that before graduation stage. For some of y'all in that after graduation stage. And so we want to provide you with the value of accountability, of coaching, of training from people who've done that, been there, done that. And so we want to give you group coaching. We want to give you investing lessons. We want to give you access to our video library where you can actually hear some of these conversations that we've had with very different successful entrepreneurs, investors, professionals. And we do that through the Student Dream Investors Gold program. And so in the Student Dream Investors Gold program, this is really for those who want to learn how to graduate debt-free, for those who want to get jobs that you actually like, that not only meet your needs and wants, but align with your values and what you like. These are for those who want to learn how to actually fund your dreams, right? I'm an entrepreneur. Martin's an entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur, investor. And so we've been able to fund our dreams. You'll be able to get relevant coaching on how to actually win with money, how to map out your financial vision, your financial goals, your financial plan, your financial systems, how to actually start really investing, like someone who wants to retire early, how to start a business if that's something you want to do. And this is all led by a community. This is all led by a community of Black investors, entrepreneurs, and professionals. We have monthly money coaching where we talk about these topics. And then you can access paid internships and job opportunities in our network. So all of that, y'all, right? For $299, all of that for the cost of a nice pair of Jordans. And so we want it to be super accessible, because think about, we're basically helping you become a millionaire for $300. And so if that's something you're interested in, sign up at studentdream.org, right? Sign up at that link. Martin, if you can drop that in the chat for folks, that would be great. But that's what we're doing, y'all. Okay. And so more about it, right? This is not for everybody, but this is only for people who want to graduate debt-free, right? This is for people who want to get out of debt. This is if you don't want to have a bunch of loans, sign up. If you want to get paid internships and jobs that you like and that actually align with your goals, your vision, your values, your needs, your wants, sign up. If you're tired of being broke, sign up. If you want to win with money and build Black wealth, sign up. If you want to invest with confidence and clarity, sign up. All right. And this is my story, right? So I get the challenges, right? I understand, like, man, I remember what it was like to not have enough, thinking, man, there's not enough money out there. I don't have help from my parents. I don't have any connections. The job market's terrible. That was my story. Like, I get it, but look where I'm at. I haven't had to apply for a job in years, right? Because I've learned the game of this. I'm invested in the stock market. I'm able to take care of myself, give to others, travel to Paris when I want to, travel to Italy when I want to. And so that can be your story. This can be your story too. And so sign up at studentdream.org/product/money club to get started. And so I want us to win together, y'all. And so I want us to win together. If you have any questions, please email me. But make sure, this $300 price tag, it's going to go up at the end of the month. So I encourage y'all to sign up earlier, sooner rather than later. And yeah, because I want to see y'all win. So time really is money. And so
if I could just add
yeah,
quickly to that point, like this type of information and this type of community is really valued at thousands of dollars. So this is really folks doing this out of passion. And to Nena's point, I mean, buying a pair of Jordans or buying AirPods, right? Like, what yield is that really going to get you in the next 10 to 15 years of your life, right? Is the AirPod really going to help you get married, right? You know what I mean? Just to put it in perspective, right? The relative value, right?
Yeah.
So, just keep that in mind. But it's a pleasure, meeting up with you guys today, and I'll let Nana close it out. But thanks for taking the time, guys.
Yeah, this is a pleasure, y'all. Did everybody get what they came for? I think so, baby. So we did our job, man. That's just a little sample, baby. Buy the whole entree, right? So y'all can sign up now. We'll follow up with the email, and there's a survey in there. Please complete the survey. It'll help us to, better give you what you want, what you need. And there'll be a little raffle giveaway for a gift card for those who complete it. And if we can we take a quick picture, y'all? Can everybody come on screen? We can take a quick picture before we sign off. All right. Jada, where you at? Where you at, Jada? There we go. Dalen's in the building. Let's go. All right, perfect. So let's smile. 1, 2, 3. And then one more. 1, 2, 3. All right, y'all. I love to see it. Okay, so that concludes this week's Student Investors Club. We will be back same time next week. And yeah, enjoy the weekend, y'all. Have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. All right. Peace.
See you guys. Have a good week.